Day. It's the day of independence for our country, and it's also the memory day for the people who died this day in 1986. So, but that was the beginning of our road to independence. Well, so, and let us start the class, and so we start with this. And okay, and we'll start with sharing the presentation. It doesn't show up. Okay. And we should start from the beginning. Okay. So here we are going to speak about the friendliest city in the world, and this is file 4D in the course book. And first of all, I would like to say some comments on the previous task about a video task, which was, am I living faster? My idea of this task was to that you should have made up your own story with simple words. You should study the story, work on pronunciation, and you should speak in front of the camera. So, I mean, that was just a lot of work to do. And so your group, just you have coped with this task successfully, most of you. And so there are some remarks about the use of prepositions and some verb forms in the sentences. As you see, there is a sentence, I'm a freshman in university. So about the use of preposition in and at. So if we say in university, it means inside of the building of the university, внутри здания университета. But when we speak about, we are not inside of the building of university nowadays because we work online. And anyway, the better preposition to use here is at university, because you do not necessarily, you shouldn't be necessarily inside the building of university to be able to study. Не обязательно находиться внутри здания, чтобы учиться, да? Имеется в виду учиться в университете at university.
А freshman переводится как новичок?
Yes, новичок, the first year student. This is the American word. So I just write what I heard from the students. And so as for the next sentence here, I spend more time for computer. So for means для, it means for somebody, but this is the better preposition here is on computer. And similar sentence, I spent more time to work on computer. Here it's better to use gerund, the ing form, working on computer. So as we see here, on this slide, at university on computer, working, spend time working on computer. And here on this slide, I just summarized the most interesting ideas from the students' videos, from the students' stories. And sometimes they seem like contradict each other. So all the students understand and they say that pandemic has extremely changed our lives. So students say that they eat more, spend more time working on computer. They do not only do their own homework, but also help other people in the family to do their tasks. For example, if they have brothers, sisters who work also online, who study online. And somebody says that computer has also replaced the textbooks. It means that we don't use the paper books, or just we use the computer, the electronic, the digital versions of textbooks. So the next idea is students spend less time with their friends because they used to meet friends at school every day 2 years ago, but now they study online, we study online, and so we just meet our friends also online mostly. Some students lost their motivation to study. There is less desire to do something. This is a kind of a crisis. I mean, there is no support from the outside. That is why sometimes students can have this kind of feeling. So then people are worried about their health. They have problems with the eyesight. This is one of the main problems because we spend a lot of time just staring at computer screens, reading from the screen of the computer. So we have a lot of problems. And so people spend more time on internet, less time on themselves. But it differs from one student to another. I mean, some students say that they spend more time on themselves because they don't need to go out from their house and just spend time on the road to university and back. So, and the next idea is we don't need to go out, yes, so we can spend more time sleeping, about sleeping. But some students also say that they sleep less because they have a lot of tasks to do at university. So it depends on our time management, of course. And some optimistic people say that life has changed for better. So maybe it's connected with the fact that we stay at home and we are in the comfortable zone. That is why, so we are not worried. So it depends, of course, because some people are bored with this staying at home. So here are the most popular, just typical ideas from the student videos. So I liked your videos very much. So Anton, I haven't seen your video. Have you done the video, Антон? Вы сделали видео?
Да,
А где оно?
секунду.
Ну, сейчас его не надо никуда пока загружать, но я уже выставила оценки. Вы видели, что я за видео вам оценки не выставила. Так что имейте в виду, что надо вовремя их загружать, и теперь уже ведомость закрылась. Но все равно вы, если оно у вас... Ну, вы сделаете это задание, пожалуйста, я найду способ как-то оценить и выставить оценки дополнительные. Okay? So, now we are starting our main topic. Today we are going to speak about big cities of the world. And here is the article, the beginning of the article, and we should read it, and then we should just analyze and answer the questions. Let us listen to Medina. Will you start reading, please?
Big cities often have a reputation for being rude, unfriendly places for tourists. Journalist Timur went to 4 cities, London, Rome, Paris, and New York, to find out if this is true. He went dressed as a foreign tourist and did 3 tests to see which city had the friendliest and most polite inhabitants. The 3 tests were...
Okay, so we see journalists. So he's making some tests, and he went dressed as a foreign student, иностранный турист. And the friendliest and the most polite inhabitants. Who are inhabitants? What other words can we see? Can we use to instead of inhabitants? What's the synonym of inhabitants? Who are they?
Habitat переводится как же, типа те, кто населяют?
Yes, население. So the people who live there in these cities. Okay, so the friendliest and the most polite. Here we have, I have highlighted the adjectives. What is the form of these adjectives? В какой форме они использованы?
Наивысший.
Превосходно.
Yes, превосходные. So this is superlative degree of the adjectives. And you see that they have different rules for making this superlative degree. По разным правилам вот эти два прилагательных образуют степени сравнения. Okay. So, and here we have the description of these three tests, and let us listen to Ilham. Read the first piece of information.
The first photo test. Tim asked people in the street to take his photo, not just one photo, but several with his head, without his head, etc. Did he find someone to do it?
Okay. So this is etc. Yes, и так далее. The Latin expression. Okay. So Daniel, read about the second test.
Right. The shopping test. Tim bought something in a shop and gave the shop assistant too much money. Did the shop assistant give back the extra money?
Okay, shop assistant, we remember who it is. Anton, number 3, please.
The accident test. Tim pretended to fall over in the street. Did anybody come and help him?
Accident, то есть тест на несчастный случай. Pretended to fall over. Притворился, что он упал где-то на улице. Okay, here are the 3 tests, and let us read the information. Okay, some questions about this piece of information. Well, Rodion, the first one, please.
What are the 3 tests?
Will you answer it, please?
Photo test, accident test, and shopping test.
Great. And Nurgali, the second question for you.
Do you think they are good ones?
Good ones means good tests. Do you agree that they are good tests?
First and last test is good.
And so you don't like the second, the shopping test. Okay. So Medina, what about question number 3?
Which city do you think will be the friendliest, the most unfriendly? I think New York is the friendliest, and Paris most unfriendly, maybe.
Why? What facts support your point of view?
В Нью-Йорке людей много разных национальностей.
There are a lot of people of different nations in New York, right?
Yes.
And in Paris, mostly of them are French people.
Paris, в фильмах так показывают.
Yes, so I also heard that they don't like tourists.
Yes,
So,
yes.
because there are a lot of tourists come to Paris, that is why they don't like them. Okay. So there is information about New York, about these 3 tests, the photo, the shopping, and the accident test. So let's read it about the photo test in New York, and let's listen to Ilham.
I asked an office worker who was eating his sandwiches to take a photo of me. Of course, I will take your picture. Again? Sure. Again? No problem. Have a nice day.
Okay, so this is just very positive people in New York about taking photos. What about the shopping test, Daniel?
I bought an I Love New York shirt and drinks from two different people. I gave them too much money, but they all give me the extra money back.
Mhm. So different people means shop assistants, продавцы, yes, and they gave all the extra money back. Okay, also plus. And the accident test, Anton, please.
The accident test. I fell over in Central Park. I didn't have to run more than 30 seconds. Oh dear, a man said, is this your camera? I think it's broken.
Mhm. Okay, but this person in Central Park didn't mean to help him, but anyway, he paid attention. So this is about New York. We can say just 3 pluses. So the next piece of information. So can we move it? Paris. Well, and the photo test, Redion.
I asked some gardeners to take some photos of me in front of the Eiffel Tower. They couldn't stop lauding when they saw my head.
Okay, so do you think it's plus or minus for the photo test?
Minus.
Minus, yeah. So the people are just laughing at him. Okay, the next, Nurgali, please.
I bought some food in a green grocers and gave the man a lot of coins. He carefully took the exact amount.
Mhm. So took the exact amount, взял только точное количество денег. So is it plus or minus?
Наверное.
Plus, okay. So Medina, we go back to you.
I fell over in the Champs-Élysées a minute fast before someone said, "Are you okay?" And he was Scottish.
Okay, so here is the Champs-Élysées, Елисейские поля, yes? Well, is it plus or minus for the accident test, Medina?
Might.
Minus, yes, because just maybe it's not at the same time, at the same moment, and that was the Scottish person, not the French. Okay, and now the test in Rome. Ilham, please, the photo test.
I asked a very chic woman in sunglasses. She took a photo of me with my hat on, then without my hat, then with my sunglasses. Then she asked me to take a photo of her.
Okay, maybe she was a foreign tourist too.
So
Okay,
yes.
and is it a plus or a minus?
Plus?
Plus, okay. Well, Daniyar, the shopping test.
I bought a copy of the Times from a newspaper seller near the railway station. It was €3 I gave the man for, and he didn't give me any change.
Yes, so the man at the railway station, newspaper seller, didn't give any change. So this is minus, of course. Well, and Anton, the accident test.
When I fell over, about 8 people immediately hurried to help me.
Immediately hurried, сразу же поспешили помочь мне. So this is plus, as we see. Okay, and which city has more pluses than minuses? Which city? New York,
New York.
Paris?
New York.
New York, yes, as Medina just said. Okay, so, and here are the more detailed questions. Well, Redion, the first one.
Which city do you think was the friendliest in the photo test? What's the friendliest?
The friendliest, самый дружелюбный, да? Friendliest.
Rome.
So this chic woman took photos with his hat, without his hat. Yes.
Then she asked that he's to take photo of her.
So very just communicative person. Okay, the second question, Nurgali.
In which city did he take a photo to? Не понимаю этого вопроса.
Which city did he take a photo to? В каком городе он еще также ему удалось сфотографироваться?
Нью-Йорк.
So New York and Rome, yes, two cities, but not in Paris. Okay, so Medina, the next question.
In the shopping test, where didn't he get the right change? Rome.
In Rome. Okay, Ilham.
Where did he buy a souvenir? Paris.
Do you remember which souvenir was it? Paris.
Not sure.
Okay. So in New York it was T-shirt. Yes.
T-shirt.
T-shirt and drinks from two different people. Okay, then in Paris it was greengrocers, some fruit in a greengrocers. То есть это овощи, фрукты, да? Вот.
Sorry, then New York.
Yes. And in Rome, that was a newspaper, the Times. Okay. Yes, it was in New York. Well, the next question, Dania, please.
In the accident test, where did he wait longest for help? Paris.
Okay, so in Rome, 8 people immediately hurried to help me. In Paris, a minute passed before someone said, and in New York, I didn't have to wait more than 30 seconds. Yes, so in Paris, it was the longest. And the next question, Anton.
In which city were people most helpful? Rome.
Rome. This is about maybe the accident test. 8 people just hurried to him. Okay. So this is the information about these famous cities. And what kind of city is here in the picture?
London.
Yes, this is the most famous attraction in London. This is Big Ben and Westminster Palace, the Houses of Parliament. Well, and we are going to listen to some information. This is Tom Moore talking about what happened in London, and we should answer the questions. So there are questions about the photo test. Who did he ask first? What did the man say? And who did he ask next, and what happened? And about the shopping test. What did he buy and where? How much was it? You should pay attention. Did he get the right change? Change, сдача. Правильную ли сдачу ему дали? And about the accident test. Where did he do the accident test? Did anyone help him? And what did the man say? Okay, and we need to first switch on the sound. Okay. Так, еще раз. Сюда. Так. Теперь опять включить. Добавить звук. Okay, so I'm turning on the recording and you should say if you hear or not. Скажите, слышно или нет.
Слышно.
Okay.
First, I did the photo test. I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, "No time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street and I bought a keyring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100, two £50 notes. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look?"
Okay. So, do we understand the information?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, who can comment on the photo test?
When he was like tourist, all people ask his no, I haven't time. But when he wait like businessman, all people take a photo.
Helped him to take a photo.
Yes.
Okay. I see. And how many photos did the people help him to take? How many photos?
I don't remember.
Okay, so
Only one.
Only one photo. Yes. Okay. About the shopping test, what did he buy? Bus and something else. Okay. And how much was it?
40
Pounds. Yes, 40 pounds. What? Okay. And did he get the right change?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everything was right. And about the accident test, where did he do the accident test? Where did he go?
Tube какой-то, я что-то не понял.
Yes, the tube. And this is in the picture. You can see
Underground.
public, what is it? Station or what? Subway. Yes. This is underground. Underground metro. Yes. And in London, it's called the tube, труба. Because it's in the form of the tube. Обычно вот эта машина, которая делает, копает землю, она вот в форме, круглой формы, поэтому труба получается, the tube. Okay, and did anyone help him?
No one.
No.
Only one man come to him and says, what? Как он сказал?
Why don't
Where
you
you look?
Ой,
Why
Yes.
you
почему? Смотри внимательнее, в общем.
Yes, why don't you look just carefully? Okay, so in the next slide, yes, here we can see the text, and maybe we'll listen for the second time to clear out the details, for example, about what he bought and what the man said. Let's listen now for the second time. Слышно?
Нет.
Нет.
Пока нет. Нет, тогда нет.
Не слышно?
No, no.
Нет.
Интересно. Должно быть слышно. Давайте еще раз с звуком разберемся. Что-то я не поняла. Это все исчезло. Ага, вот оно. Так, да. Вроде бы звук включен. Пробуем еще раз. Так. Слышно?
Слышно?
Yes.
First, I did the
Yes.
photo test. I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, "No, no, no time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street and I bought a keyring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100, two £50 notes. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look?"
Why don't you look where you are going? The man said. Okay, and about the souvenirs, what did he buy?
Keyring.
Keyring. Keyring. This is what's the Russian for this keyring?
Брелок, наверное.
Брелок, yes, то есть колечко для ключей. Okay, so we actually just remember and we understand everything. And about how we just evaluate these tests. The first, the photo test, is it plus or minus?
Minus.
Minus. He took one photo. Okay, so maybe something between minus and plus, because anyway, he took one photo, this person. Okay, and yes, I understand why you say minus, because the first man refused to help him, yes. The second was the shopping test, plus or minus, what is it?
Plus.
Plus, of course. He gave me £60 back. And the accident test, plus or minus, what is it?
Absolutely minus.
Yes, because no one helped him, and just say there's some negative words about his falling. Okay, and so if we move to the next slide, we can see here the information about grammar structures that we met in these descriptions of different cities, and this information about superlative adjectives. So I understand that you have already revised this information on MOOC course, which was the task from the previous class, and you also watched a video explanation of the different kind of forms of adjectives. But anyway, let us look at the examples here. And the first line here about Tokyo. Tokyo is the cleanest capital in the world. And we can see the superlative adjective, the cleanest. Then Spain is one of the most popular holiday destinations. The most popular is the adjective, самый популярный. Camping is the least expensive way to go on holiday. То есть кемпинг, палатки – это самый недорогой способ провести каникулы. And the next group of examples. It's the most beautiful city I've ever been to. Самый красивый город, в котором я когда-либо был. So we have the most beautiful. This is the adjective in superlative degree. And we also have the form I've ever been to. Have been. This is the present perfect tense. То есть очень часто используется вот эта форма, когда у нас есть прилагательное в превосходной степени сравнения. And it's the best film I've ever seen this year. Also, with the same example, have seen the present perfect. So the rules are, the first rule, we use the plus superlative adjectives to say which is the biggest, etc. in the group. Мы используем прилагательные в превосходной степени сравнения. Обязательно перед ним ставится определенный артикль the, когда мы говорим, что что-то одно в группе самое большое и так далее. То есть выделяем какое-то качество, и этот объект в наибольшей степени обладает этим качеством во всей группе. Then after superlatives we use in plus names of places or singular words for groups of people. После превосходной степени сравнения мы обычно используем предлог in, то есть в какой-то группе, in the world, вот как у нас здесь было, да, или singular words for groups, или слово в единственном числе, когда мы называем целую группу людей. It's the noisiest city in the world, вот предлог, или Anne's the oldest in the class, самая старшая в классе. То есть in и плюс название группы людей или места какого-то, the world. So we can also use the least plus adjective, for example, the least expensive or the cheapest. Самый недорогой или самый дешевый. То есть мы помним, что в сравнительной степени это было less, меньше, а вот превосходная степень the least, самое меньшее количество. And the second rule here is we often use the plus superlative with the present perfect plus ever. То есть вот вторая группа примеров превосходной степени сравнения прилагательных и фразы, где глагол используют в present perfect. И можно еще использовать слово ever. Когда-либо видел, когда-либо был. То есть это логично напрашивается, вот эта форма. Но именно глагол должен быть в present perfect, если мы такой глагол используем. Well, and so here in this chart we have comparative and superlative adjectives. So, for example, if we have irregular forms of adjectives, we remember them in all these three forms. So in the left-hand column, we have the adjective itself, and then in the middle we have comparative form, and to the right, superlative degree, превосходная степень сравнения. So you remember the basic rule, like cold, colder, the coldest. То есть в превосходной степени сравнения добавляется суффикс est, the coldest, и обычно используется определенный артикль the coldest. Thin, thinner, the thinnest. We double the final consonant. Удваивается вот конечная согласная буковка, как в comparative degree, так же и в superlative degree. Healthy, healthier, the healthiest. Если прилагательное состоит из двух слогов и заканчивается прилагательное на согласное плюс y, то эта буковка y меняется на букву I и добавляется суффикс er or est. Then beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. Если прилагательное состоит из двух и более слогов и не заканчивается на y, то тогда используется дополнительное слово more и the most. And irregular forms, неправильные формы прилагательных, good, better, the best, bad, worse, the worst, far, further, the furthest, or the farthest. Вот эти формы. Yeah, and so let us look at this exercise, and the task is to complete the sentences with a superlative degree of adjectives. And the example, is this the noisiest city in the world? Это самый шумный город в мире. So noisy, it just ends with Y. That is why it changes into I, and we have est, the noisiest. Okay, let's look at the first sentence and listen to Medina.
Yesterday was the hottest day of the year.
So what happens with the hottest? About the spelling.
Te udvajujete.
Yes, double T. Okay. So Ilham, please, the second sentence.
This is the worst time to drive through the city center.
The worst. This is irregular form. And the next, Daniya.
She's the friendliest person in the class.
Yes, the friendliest. And we change Y into which letter? Буковка Y на какую букву меняется? The friendliest.
I.
На букву I, yes. So Anton, sentence number 4.
This is important. The important test part of the exam.
Look, if we have the long adjective, если у нас длинное прилагательное important, 3 слога, да? Вот как в слове beautiful, третий столбик смотрим. The most
important. This is
This
the most important part for the exam.
Это самая важная часть экзамена. Окей, Родион.
The best month to visit is September.
Good. Nurgali.
It is the most polluted city in the world.
Yes, самый загрязненный, the most polluted. Good. So, Medina, please.
The furthest I have ever flown is to Australia.
So, and you can see the example where we have the verb in the present perfect. Have flown. Самое далекое, куда я когда-либо летал, это Австралия. And ever. Have ever flown. Okay. Yes. Actually, this is here are the correct versions that we have already said, and we have these adjectives: the hardest, the worst, the friendliest, the most important, the best, the most polluted, and the furthest. Do we have any more? No. Okay, so if we go back to our room, so we can stop the recording.